Hello everyone and welcome back to Nathrandyr's Guide to Everything. Today we're going to be doing another beginner's how-to guide on how to create a specific character, and this week we have the Warlock, specifically the Fiend. Let's jump into it. Okay, welcome back everybody. Just so you understand the attire here with the vest, it's currently boiling hot in the UK right now. I've actually just been sunbathing, but I thought I should probably get some work done. So we're going to come in and make this video for you now, and we're going to keep it hot and spicy with like I said, a Fiend Warlock. So we're going to head to the My Characters section. We're going to create a new character, and we're going to go standard because we know what we're doing now. We're almost veterans at this point. We'll take a few things on. I just do it literally just out of habit, but we'll randomize a name, and I have a particular kind of race in mind for this today. We're going to go with a Tiefling, I think. It works quite well for it, and that looks like a very Tiefling-y name. Zalivia, except we're going to remove some of that and just go for Zale. I like that. Pick a little portrait, very quick. Oh, we haven't got a race yet, doesn't matter. I'm not going to scroll through all those. Let's go straight over to race. And there's a few ones that would be good for this. What you're looking for with a Warlock usually is a charisma increase. So if you can find a class with a charisma increase, that would do you well, and dex as well. Dragonborns do have plus to charisma, but the strength is not really what we need as a spellcaster. Also, I believe the Eladrin elf +2 to dex, and the Fey Step ability, being able to cast Misty Step at will, is incredible. That's a good choice as well. But today, and obviously humans, always good. But we're going to go with the, what's the word for it? I guess a typical depiction of a warlock. A lot of time they are Tieflings, because Tieflings have this infernal past with the horns and being related to devils and so on. A lot of the time it can just be telling, basically. So we're going to choose a Tiefling, and I'll just go through the abilities we get really quick. That's a +2 to charisma, so that's our spellcasting modifier as a warlock, so fantastic. +1 to intelligence, that helps with our arcana checks and things like that, so that will also be useful in this kind of build that we're going to be going for. We get dark vision, which is fantastic. Hellish resistance, which gives us resistance to fire damage, I believe. And we also get infernal legacy. We know the thaumaturgy cantrip, which just gives us a few more spells as well. That's another reason for taking this. And when we reach 3rd level, you can cast the hellish rebuke spell, which is like a retort. Basically, if something hits you, you can set them on fire. It's really, really cool. And there's a few other things at higher levels, but we won't worry about that for now. We'll jump straight into the class, and we know where we're going this week. It is to the Warlock. We'll add that in here, and there we are. Perfect. So Warlocks, they get 1d8 hit points, hit die. For proficiencies, they don't get a lot out the gate. We get light armor and simple weapons, as well as saving throws in wisdom and charisma, which are arguably probably a couple of the most used ones. Probably dex is up there, but yeah, we can choose a few Warlock skills here. We're definitely going to go with something charismatic. And I'm not sure about intimidation for this character. I'm thinking more deceptive. So we'll click on that one there, and it looks like the internet's being slow today. See what happens. Give me a second. And then we're going to go for Arcana as well. I think that suits quite well. Knowledge of the mystical and things like that, with a background coming from this fiendish entity that is our patron, and that's what we're going to talk about here. So when you pick a warlock, as it says here, you strike a bargain with an otherworldly being of your choice. The Fiend is the one that's available if you don't spend any cash on D&D Beyond or anything like that, but there are plenty more exciting ones. But the Fiend is a typical, well, it's a fiend, a demon or devil that you strike a bargain with, usually a devil, and they grant you these powers, and that's where you draw your arcane prowess from. So we're going to go with a fiend. Oh gosh, D&D Beyond is going down. I'll be right back. Okay, so I think we're back in. We're going to try again. I've hit the fiend. There we go. That's running a lot smoother already. And so we get Pact magic. And this goes through the way you cast spells as a warlock, and it is slightly different to other spellcasters. You have the spell list you have access to is great. It's a mixture of a few different things and some specific to a warlock, but you can't cast that many spells, as many spells as a traditional caster. You're kind of meant to be melee focused as well. It's kind of a mix between the two. It's quite like a utility class. So I'll just go through it briefly because it can get a bit confusing. You know 2 cantrips of your choice from the Warlock spell list. can change them as you level up, blah blah blah. But essentially you use your charisma spellcasting as your spellcasting ability, sorry, and in addition, when you can't change spells every single day when you take a long rest. You have to wait till you level up to be able to change up your spell list. So hopefully by the end of the campaign you have a set spell list that you really like. Obviously you unlock greater ones as you go up through the levels as well. But the great thing about Warlocks is, while they don't have as many spell slots, they do reset on a short rest, which is incredibly powerful. So you should never save your spells as a Warlock. I feel like burning through them is what you want to do, because you can get them back on a short rest, which in a normal adventuring party you should probably have 2 per day of travel adventuring, things like that. In my games it tends to be 1 usually, but the Dungeon Master's Guide says recommended 2, but there you go. They get their spells back on a short rest, which is incredibly powerful, which is also why they don't have as many, because that would be really overpowered. And because we chose the Fiend as our patron for our Pact, it lets us choose from an expanded spell list, and from the start we'll have access to Burning Hands and Command, and you can see the pattern here are all just debilitating or very powerful damaging spells basically. A lot of fire theming in there, which is again the typical Warlock, the typical Tiefling. We get Fireball, Fire Shield, Wall of Fire, Flame Strike and Hallow further down the line, which is an interesting one. And then we also get Dark One's Blessing, which is a feature of the Fiend as well. Starting at first level, when you reduce a hostile creature to 0 hit points, you gain temporary hit points equal to your Charisma modifier plus your Warlock level. Pretty cool. So if you kill something, you get more health. Why wouldn't you want that? Good stuff. Let's move on to abilities. Okay, so this time round we're going to roll some stats again and just see basically what we get, and I'll probably just time lapse this so you don't have to watch me roll all these dice, and we'll just see if we get a good ability spread. It could be quite fun. Right, okay, so from those 2 sets that we've rolled, I do like the disparity between the 17 and the 9 on the first, but I think we're going to go with this kind of average score set along the top here. I think that's like a nice good spread. We've got 2 slightly stronger stats, which is usually what you need to have an effective character mechanically, I would say. So we're going to roll with that, so we'll do 15 Charisma, I think we'll go for 15 Dexterity, then we'll pull our Constitution up a little bit. Strength I think we'll dump as our lowest. And then we'll go Intelligence and Wisdom, both at 12 each. So we'll apply those. Lovely, that's gone in. We'll go to our description. Oh, our character name's gone. Let's put it back in. Zale. I like it. And now we can pick a Tiefling portrait. That one's really cool. I think that's a character called Vanifer from the universe, actually. But we'll put her in. I like that one. Why did that not? Apply. There we go. I don't know how to use D&D Beyond apparently, guys. Right, so background. Now we'll go to a little bit more of the roleplay side of it. What do we want them to be like? They are a Warlock. They're a Fiend type. We could go Soldier from the Underdark or something like that. Or Haunted One. I think I choose that too often. Tragic backstory, all that. We won't do that. Let's go Noble, shall we? Yeah. And how did we get our nobility and our power? By making a deal with the devil, and we need to come up with a name for our patron. That's always fun. Or you can let your DM do that stuff and you can just play and eventually it'll come and bite you in the ass. We get proficiency in history, which is great. Moves in with our kind of intelligence of the past and so on, as well as in persuasion to take advantage of our charisma. So we'll choose a gaming set and I guess just playing cards. I don't know what 3 Dragon Ante is, I'm not too sure. And I think we'll go for languages we speak, because I think as a Tiefling we can speak Infernal already. Let's go for another... Let's go for like a common, I guess. What kind of city would we live in? I think probably... I imagine it would be like a human society. What do they mix with usually? I guess just elves? Yeah, we'll go with that. So as a noble, we are born into a position of privilege, and this is a little feature that we get. Thanks to your noble birth, people are inclined to think the best of you. You are welcome in high society, and people assume you have the right to be wherever you are. The common folk make every effort to accommodate you and avoid your displeasure, and other people of high birth treat you as a member of the same social sphere. And I can secure an order with a local noble if I need to. So I like this idea that I've risen through the ranks, but a little bit too quickly. How did that happen? And you earn respect as anybody else would, with a noble title, maybe nice clothes and a nice manor, something like that. But it came from this devil, and then that's maybe where a campaign could start as your life starts to fall apart, something like that. As Zale's life, sorry. So, suggested characteristics, let's have a look. Let's roll randomly, because that's always fun. We got a 1 and a 3. My eloquent flattery makes everyone I talk to feel like the most wonderful and important person in the world. Using our charisma there. Very, very good. So basically we kind of get out what we want out of people perhaps, but just by talking them into things. And number 3, no one could doubt by looking at my regal bearing that I am a cut above the unwashed masses. So we really present ourselves well, quite regally perhaps. I like this, it just rolls into this kind of story we're building around Zale now. Zale of the manor of Waterdeep, somewhere, name a major city, any city, doesn't matter. Ideals, let's roll 1. And we went for the first one. Respect is due to me because of my position, but all people regardless of station deserve to be treated with dignity. So this kind of flows into another side of it. Perhaps we were selfish at one point. No, I think it's the other way around. Perhaps we were lowborn and we treat everyone with respect, and through hard work we got ourselves to the top, but we still like the lower society or treat them with the respect that we would have wanted, kind of thing. So we're good in that sense, but still the way we got to our noble position isn't the best of circumstances. Let's roll a bond. I will face any challenge to win the approval of my family. So there you go, it kind of rolls into this again. It's all coming together. It's almost like the backgrounds are made to be this way. So we rose to power, maybe because it was what our family wanted for us. Where are our family? Do they live in the Nine Hells? Do they live in the city of brass on the plane of fire? And we're kind of spreading out into the universe, and we couldn't have done it on our own. We needed a patron to help us do it. So we'll do anything to get the approval of our family, and that could come to bite you in the arse, absolutely. Like being a patron to a devil. Let's roll a floor. Number 4, I have an insatiable desire for carnal pleasures. Well, I mean, fairly easily role-played, so sure. That's a great way to just round off the character as well. Why not, eh? Why not? Let's minimize that. I won't go into too many details. We'll go lifestyle, I think, with nobility. I think wealthy. Probably not aristocratic, but wealthy. We live a life of luxury, and we kind of know what we want. And I think due to what we've done, I think chaotic good would probably suit us quite well. We'll roll over to the equipment. I think probably simple weapon. We wouldn't want to be seen with a crossbow. I don't think that's very subtle. I kind of want to go for just a short sword, perhaps. I did genuinely think that a short sword was a simple weapon for whatever reason, but we'll go with something else instead. Maybe we just go with a sickle, something a bit off kilter to represent our tiefling background. Why not? And I think an arcane focus as opposed to a component pouch, and that would probably be I like the idea of I was going to say ore, but crystal sounds quite good too. A crystal pulled from wherever we were, whichever layer of hell our descendancy is from as a tiefling. That could be fun. I think we'll go for a scholar's pack almost definitely, considering our background. We already get 2 daggers, so for another weapon, just in case we need it, we can have it hidden, I guess. I like the idea, should we need it, that we have a light hammer. It doesn't seem to fit very thematically, but maybe before we got here we were a blacksmith or something like that, and that's where the light hammer comes into it. Let's go with that. We'll add starting equipment. We have a set of fine clothes and a few other things. Some parchment, a signet ring to represent our nobility. Wonderful. What's next? What's next is we view the character sheet. So now we've got the character sheet open, we've glanced over our inventory. Let's choose some spells for our first level. You can see we only get 1 first level Pact spell slot, so this shouldn't take too long. So cantrips, we will have Thaumaturgy, so I feel like we don't need Prestidigitation because Thaumaturgy kind of floats in that area of simple spells. We have to go with Eldritch Blast because it's a must for a Warlock. You literally Have to, it's just too good. And we have nobility. What else would we use? I think perhaps a bit of laziness may have crept in, and we'll go with Mage Hand. We unlock doors before we get to them, things like that. And first level spells. Hellish Rebuke I know we get as a Tiefling later on, so we're not going to go with that. I think Charm Person, absolutely take advantage of our Charisma even more. Command might be a bit on the nose for our status in society, so I'm thinking perhaps, I think just for flavour I'm going to go with Expeditious Retreat for now, in the mind that if the DM were to craft such a story that maybe the devils come back because we owe them something in the first mission, in the first adventure, I don't know, Expeditious Retreat to kind of get us out of the way and run away from this creature so we can gather allies perhaps and maybe have a chance to fight back. But there we go. Like I said, so Pact slot, if we were to spend one of those and we take a short rest as opposed to a long rest, take short rest, confirm, you see it resets. So obviously on a long rest it does as well, but that's why Warlocks are so powerful and so much fun to play, because again, they're a utility caster, kind of best of both worlds. They're almost a full spellcaster, but they can excel in melee as well with their high dexterity and things like that. But yeah, this has been Nathrandir's guide to everything. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. This has been Zale, the Tiefling Warlock of the Fiend, and we'll see him at level 3 in the next video. I'll see you then. Bye bye.